Okay, so happy Friday, everyone. I think we are a little light today again. How that we have a few updates from the team just on some changes that are happening. We have an update from Samia on some accessibility research and study that she's been doing. So we'll kind of step through that. We'll open it up to the floor to see if there's anything from the community in terms of demo or just questions or discussion topics. Um, and then I think I'll wrap. We'll take a quick look at the board and do another update on kind of help wanted tickets and just make sure everyone's aware of how they can get engaged in the backlog if they wanted to. And then we'll kind of wrap from there. I like the plan. Good. 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 Simon, maybe you want to kick us off.
Sure, I can do that. So with Venia, we want to really try and be as accessibility compliant within reasonable. I mean, AAA may be hard for us to achieve, but at least AA accessibility, and pretty deep. Also addressing keyboard use and tab order and things like that. So I've been doing some research, and there's a big WCAG has a long checklist that's pretty detailed on how we can be compliant. So we're still trying to figure out, what the extent of compliance we want to hit is, and then how we're going to kind of stage that into the components, into the storefront, and so on. I would really appreciate if any of you, and Jordan, you guys build a lot of sites, if you have done some work on this and you have recommendations, it would be great to hear from you. Because I mean, we do have an accessibility team at Adobe, but I kind of want to get it to a place where it's ready for an audit, so we don't just come back with, right now if we send it to them, it's just going to be a very long document of everything that's missing, and pretty much everything is missing except maybe contrast or text size might be okay. But so I'd rather get it to a point where it's actually doing okay before we ask for that formal audit. So if you have, and Artem, if you have any information on that, please feel free to reach out to me on EngCom Slack, or if you have my email. I think, Jordan, you do have my email, and Artem should too. Just feel free to email me anything that you think we should know or consider while doing this.
Sure.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that goes for anyone in general who's watching the recording or on the call maybe and not on camera. But if you guys have any questions or interest in accessibility and what we're doing from a Venia perspective, make sure to reach out and we'll connect you with Samia. Andy, you want to talk about?
Sure.
Repo?
In an effort to involve the community engineering team and bring in more community contributions, their recommendation is that we move out of the Magento research organization and into the Magento organization proper. This will let the community engineering team, we're going to build like a GitHub project board. So right now, our entire board is on ZenHub, which is kind of a pain point. It's a browser extension that people have to download and get into and all that stuff. So it's just going to make it a lot easier for the community engineering team. It'll make it more consistent with the other Magento open source projects. So the idea is really that a contributor who's used to working on Magento or GraphQL could like easily switch into PWA, and everything would be about the same. There would be no learning curve or anything like that there. So that's the idea. We're trying to do some discovery and research right now to kind of get ahead of any speed bumps or hiccups. So if you have things that you're worried about or whatever, there's an open issue right now. Just go ahead and throw them in there. I know I pinged you this morning, Jordan, but it was probably about 10 minutes ago, so you might not have seen it yet. But
I did.
Fallback Studio.
I answered 6 minutes ago.
Yeah. So we can talk about Fallback Studio and make sure that that nothing breaks there. But from my understanding, GitHub will redirect all HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH stuff after we make the transfer. So it should be, fingers crossed, seamless. Community engineering team has done this before with other repos, so They have a whole checklist that we're going to go through. So, but yeah, just wanted to give a heads up that that's coming. Probably not today, but probably next week, hopefully. So we're hoping to get the whole thing done by September because there's a lot of Meet Magento events in September around the world. So September 1st is kind of our deadline, but goal to get this done. So cool. That's it.
Yeah, I saw the ticket and I wanted to bring up the issue number for the community in case they're interested. There it is. So yeah, the issue is 1472. So if you have interest in what we're doing around migrating the PWA Studio repo, either reach out to Andy or just look at that ticket and you can comment on that ticket and we will answer any questions. All right, what is next? What do we have? No? Me? It's me. I think it's me. All right. Let me share my screen and pull up. There we go. Nice. So looking at our Zen Hub board right now, that's maybe a little too much. I think a few quick updates. So I think typically when we come to the community demo, I think we kind of demo things that are either in progress or close to landing. And I think, in terms of follow-up, we kind of demo them once and then we kind of assume that the community is just engaged in our board and our repo and know when things are landing, when things are merging. But in talking with Deb this morning, we talked about for future updates, what we really want to do is make sure that we're giving clear information on when things are being merged and what the state of them is. So going forward, not today, but going forward, as things move out of the rightmost column and move into the merged issues, we'll go through kind of a list of when we're merging and when things are landing to make sure that we're following up and you guys know when things are becoming available and developed and things like that. So just expect more information from us on that. And I think that'll be a good improvement just in terms of making sure everyone's up to speed on our progress. Another quick update is that we continue, as Andy pointed out, labeling issues with help wanted where we are looking for a contribution or just help from the community. Of course, the help does not have to be isolated to just those issues. We of course have Jordan and Artyom and some other folks on the community who contribute tickets into our backlog, and we move across into our workflow. But help wanted tickets are an easy way to get started if you're looking for where you can pick up some PWA related work. We tend to target kind of low level of effort issues that are pretty straightforward in terms of fixing. Some of them are like some pretty heavy feature work, so that's not necessarily always the case. But if you're interested in getting involved or helping out with the PWA Studio backlog, just make sure you can filter. If you're in Zen Hub, you can look at the labels on the board. If I think you're looking at the issues view, you can also filter on that label and just take a look. And if you have any interest, feel free to reach out to us on the Community Engineering Slack channel or through the ticket. There you go. Help wanted. I think that is it for our updates. So I guess I will ask if there are any demos or open questions from the larger group.
Were you raising your hand previously? Did you want to? Yeah, I thought you were. No.
That shirt is inaccurate.
It is an inaccurate shirt. What? Only Adobe shirts allowed.
They provided more.
Great. So Jordan, you got anything on your side?
Maybe. Give me 1 second. So yeah, actually I do. I've tried to update our project to the latest version of Studio. And for some reason, the dev dependency at Magento Babel preset Peregrine is not published. Not sure if you guys noticed that. Or it doesn't seem to be published on Yarn.
Babel preset Peregrine. I'm not
Did we not
familiar with
publish
that.
that?
I'll have to.
That's new. It's
Yeah.
new.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have released it. I feel like it's only merged to development.
Yeah, working next week.
And it's part of the package, so it should just be able to install from like a relative directory to where you are. So like if you just pull all of PWA Studio, it should be there, I thought.
Yeah, I tried that, but wasn't working. So,
Okay.
but maybe I did something wrong. I'll check again, and if it's not working, then I'll
Ping
get
us
back
in
to
the
this
room if
issue.
you have more trouble in the community room.
Yeah, we can definitely follow up.
Well, because if that's part of development, I want to make sure no one is having problems with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely follow up on that, Jordan.
Awesome.
That brings up another good point in terms of release. We have ongoing conversations right now with release and our next release schedule, upcoming release schedule. Dev, I don't know if you have any other information there. We have some meetings that need to happen around it. Yeah, we have a meeting today. So just stay, keep in touch, and we'll make sure we're pushing out information on when the next release is coming, but and what the release contents are. Right. It's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big one. All right. Well, hey, I think that's all we have for today. So thanks everyone for. I just said, thanks everyone for joining, and onwards and upwards. There we go.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Nailed it.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.